Do you know what the difference between a war story and a fairy tale is? Well, in just a moment, I'll explain. I've heard it said that a fairy tale starts off once upon a time, but a war story starts off, you're not going to believe this, but today we're going to start with a war story, and perhaps you'll believe it, perhaps you won't, but it's an interesting story, and it makes a point that I think needs to be made about dealing with lawyers. So let me begin. Early on in my career, I had a client come in who had been misdiagnosed with melanoma. Melanoma is a serious disease, and oftentimes if the disease is not caught promptly, people die from it. And it can be cured usually with surgery, and you can get a complete cure if they get all of the margins. In this case, the diagnosis went too long without being made, and as a result, the gentleman ultimately passed away. But before he passed away, he came to our office and he made a claim for medical negligence. And the medical records absolutely certified that he had a claim. There was no question about that. The doctor had simply missed the diagnosis. During the workup, we always tell clients there are three things we have to prove. We have to prove negligence, that somebody was negligent. We have to prove causation, that the negligence caused the injury. And the final thing we have to prove is damages, which basically is how much money did the individual lose as a result of the negligence. And of course, in a wrongful death case, what you're winding up losing is a lifetime of income or the rest of the person's lifetime of income. So these cases can be very significant. In the process of working up that case, the gentleman didn't have tax returns. And so when we asked for those tax returns, he indicated that he didn't have them. We said, well, that won't be a problem. We will simply get you to a lawyer who can file the tax returns that you didn't file. You're going to have to pay a penalty, but we'll at least be able to substantiate that you've had damages. Because in almost every case, they ask for that information anyway. When he came back in to help prepare for that, he gave us a different Social Security number than he did the first time that he came in. And that piqued our interest. We couldn't figure out how somebody could have one name but two Social Security numbers. So we did what we often do in that situation. We went to a private investigator and we asked him to run a background check on those Social Security numbers. I did that at about 11 o'clock in the morning. I went to lunch. I came back about 12:15, and I had messages from the company that ran the background check, and I also had a message from a special agent with the FBI. It turned out that our client was wanted for interstate theft from shipment. When he had told us that he sold things at flea markets, which is what he told us why he did not have good books and couldn't substantiate damages and hadn't filed taxes, was only partially true. He did sell a lot of goods at flea markets, but he obtained those goods by sticking a gun in somebody's face in a truck and hijacking the trucks. So the FBI very desperately wanted to come and arrest him. And as a result, we worked with our referring lawyer to arrange to have him surrendered to the FBI, because you really don't want the FBI knocking on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning to take you into custody with guns drawn, particularly if you're sick and you have malignant melanoma. In that particular case, what happened was the FBI realized that if they prosecuted this man, they were going to be responsible for all of the chemotherapy necessary to keep him alive, and they declined prosecution. So in one respect, he got away with the crime, but in another respect, a higher court intervened, and ultimately he was judged in a different way. So have you figured out what the point is? The point is, you have to be honest with your lawyer and upfront at the very beginning of a case. If he had told us that he was essentially a wanted felon, I doubt very seriously if we would have considered officing his case, but he didn't. And he almost got our law firm in trouble by virtue of filing a false pleading, because the pleading, although not materially false with respect to the cause of action, was certainly false with respect to damages, at least the information that he had given us. And we had to correct that and pull the pleading from the court. All lawyers have sort of a sixth sense about when people are lying to them. And I've had a lot of people look me right in the eye and lie to me. So I would point out that that's not a good idea, not a plan that you can be successful with in any litigation. If you found this interesting or helpful, I hope you would do two things. First, I hope you would smash that like button for me. And second, I hope you would press the subscribe icon and click on the notification bell so that you would be alerted whenever we publish a new video here on YouTube. Thank you for watching and have a terrific day.